When it comes to mind-altering agents such as alcohol or drugs, in the vast majority of cases humans are meant. But biologists know that animals also have their own fans of getting high. And in their desire to experience it, they will stop at nothing. Below you can see a list of the most desperate seekers of pleasure. Gorillas. Gorillas have more than enough reasons to be depressed. There's deforestation, poachers, and intericcular competition. What is there to do in the face of such incessant stress without getting drunk? This is exactly what gorillas living in the mountainous regions of Rwanda do. They managed to discover one of the local varieties of bamboo, which has alcohol in its sap. This source of fun is well known to the locals, and they even call it bamboo wine. What the gorillas call it is unknown, but the fact that they drink this alcoholic beverage with great pleasure has long been known. US photographer Andy Rouse happened to stumble upon the gorillas having such a drink, right in the jungle. It happened during his trip to Rwanda. At first, the photographer thought the gorillas had some health problems. But after a closer look, he quickly realized that the gorillas had become extremely sick. Andy used the opportunity to snap dozens of pictures that were posted on social networks. These were the first pictures of the gorillas drunk. Australian dogs enjoy licking toads. Australia is home to the largest number of venomous snakes. They can be found there almost under every rock. But the most amazing thing is that at the top of the food pyramid is not even such a celebrated exterminator of all living things as man. This king is the creepy-looking reed toad. Funny how it enjoys such immunity on the mainland, though some argue that Australia is an island after all, where everyone hunts everyone. But Australian dogs proved to be no slouch, and began to use the reed toads in the same way that humans use small doses of life-threatening substances for pleasure. The frogs contain very little of this poisonous substance, but enough to give the dogs enough pleasure by licking the toads over and over again. Under the influence of this substance, the dogs begin to perform such ridiculous actions as hopping about, contemplating the sky, or running in circles for half an hour. The truth is, this pursuit of buzz can come back to haunt dogs in the same way that it does for humans with health problems. Australian dogs enjoy licking toads. I must say that the Australian authorities took this into account, and in this country even opened rehabilitation centers for dogs licked by reed toads. Groundhogs are hooked on antifreeze. With the shortage of alcohol, some bipeds have mastered the art of drinking various technical fluids like brake fluid. Usually such representatives of mankind are referred to as pigs, whereas their closest colleagues in the animal world are not pigs, but marmots. Car antifreeze is poison to many representatives of the animal world. But not for the marmots that inhabit California's national parks. Not only are these rodents not afraid of this poison, but they have grown to love it with great affection. Groundhogs even gather in groups of 10 to 15 animals to attack parked cars. Dolphins devour toxic fugu fish. Fugu fish is considered a classic Japanese delicacy. True, it is very dangerous, but it is also unusually expensive. The body of fugu fish contains a lot of tetrodotoxin, one of the most dangerous poisons on the planet, which is 10 times more toxic than the famous curare. The tetrodotoxin contained in just one palm-sized fish is enough to send 3 dozen gourmets to their deaths. The mechanism of action of this poison is such that it causes paralysis of all muscles and leads to respiratory failure. It is for this reason that only chefs of the highest qualification have the right to cook this fish. However, in spite of this delicacy still kills several people every year. The most interesting thing is that dolphins do not eat fish completely. They simply take it in their mouth and suck it, as if a drug addict sucks on a piece of sugar drenched in LSD. This continues until the mammal feels pleasure. Then the fish of happiness is passed to another addicted dolphin, and so on until all the members of the pack feel bliss. After that, the fish is released into the wild. Drunken squirrels. These animals are also among those who breathe uneasy about alcohol. And they have even mastered a primitive form of winemaking. To obtain alcohol, they seek out fruit that rots in the sun and drink its juice. Fortunately for them, the smallest amount of fermented juice is enough to get them thoroughly stoned, which has been captured on camera more than once. In the United States, squirrels even have their own favorite holiday for which they get especially rowdy. It's Halloween. The thing is, when it's over, people throw a lot of pumpkins in the trash, which can sit on the ground for quite a while and ferment. As a result, in warm weather, mid-November becomes the season of drunken squirrels. For example, in mid-July 2015, several people who worked at a British pub came to work in the morning and found a lot of beer spilled on the floor of the establishment. At first they thought the place had been raided by robbers, but later they saw the culprit. It was a drunken squirrel who could barely stand. The animal managed to open the tap of the beer tank and get as drunk as other squirrels could not dream of. Russian bears are not satisfied with mere alcohol, they want jet fuel. When the Soviet Union ceased to exist, no one thought about the environment. As a result, in Kamchatka, some shrewd businessmen turned the Kronotsky Reserve into a storage facility where they collected jet fuel. However, some time later, Russian scientists saw that the brown bears living there had learned how to open the barrels and enjoy it. They acted like regular toxicomaniacs, inhaling the fumes of a radioactive substance. The end of such a session was about the same state that some of our fellow citizens are in after getting paid, only the bear's fence or backyard is replaced by some ditch in which they lie while their consciousness travels to other worlds. One photographer even devoted 7 months of his life to taking pictures of drunk bears. According to his claims, the bears did not limit themselves to just sniffing the tanks and zealously sniffed the ground beneath the helicopters, sniffing the fuel dripping from them. But after a while the reserve was cleared of the barrels, and the bear shop was shut down. How the bears reacted to such destruction of the dealer's center remains unknown. So not only people can become addicted to intoxicants. Alas, the consequences of such addiction are the same for both humans and animals.